Hey everybody, it's Sarah the Urban Farm Gal. Today we are smoking cheese. Okay, so the first thing I am doing is I'm going to start my smoker. So this is the smoker that I use for cold smoking. It's called the Amazing smoker. So I'm just going to use my normal gas grill. Now I'm not lighting this grill because we're cold smoking, so I don't want any heat in here. And today is a good day because it's only 39 degrees outside right now. So I'm going to fill my smoker with some pellets, and I'm using these applewood pellets for smoking cheese today. And I'm also smoking some almonds. Bonus! I love smoked almonds, and they are uber expensive at the grocery store. So I'm gonna fill my smoker about 3/4 of the way full. Hello, chickens. Okay, that should be good. So it's maybe a little more than 3/4 full. That's all right. So set that over there to the side. It's kind of hard to get these started just with a regular match. So what I've got is a little piece of cotton that I grew when I lived in Arkansas. So I'm just going to shove this cotton in there and kind of tuck it down in between the pellets and see if that can get it started. They also say you can take some of that hand sanitizer gel and rub it on a few to get started. I don't know. That doesn't seem to really work well for me. The other option I have used in the past is hubby has some MAP gas for when he's sweating copper and doing plumbing. And so you can just take that little blowtorch and just hold it there until these catch fire. And that works really well. But we're gonna try the cotton first, and if that doesn't work, then we will definitely resort to the MAP gas. Well, and that didn't work very well. It is kind of damp outside today, so we'll see if that has any effect on getting this started. I don't know that this cotton is really gonna catch. All right, MAP gas it is. Okay, we are back with some MAP gas. No more messing around, folks. We are just going at it. So, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Haha. Okay. So there's the flame that I want. So you get this started and let it go for about 10 minutes, and that will allow the pellets to get going good so that they don't go out when you're smoking. So when I come back out in 10 minutes, I'll actually blow the flame out. But you should make sure that the pellets inside there are a little bit white and that they're burning good. Kind of like with a regular briquette, if you're ever grilling with charcoal briquettes. So before this gets hot, I'm going to move this over to the far side of the grill. And that way I have room to put my tray. And I'm going to insert this upper tray because I need the extra space since I'm doing quite a bit of cheese and also those almonds. Okay, the flame's still going, so we're gonna let this sit for about 10 minutes to get going really good. Hi, stinker! And then while this is going, we're gonna go in and prep the cheese and get the almonds ready, and then we'll bring it all back out and put it on the grill. There's Maybelle. What you doing, Stinker Bear? Did you come see what Mama's doing? What's down there? So when you smoke cheese, it's a cold smoking process. So there's no heat involved outside of just what's burning the wood chips that I'm using, or in this case, I'm using pellets. So it's 39 degrees outside. Actually, correction, it's 42 degrees outside, which is a really good temperature for smoking cheese because that way you don't have to worry about it getting too hot and any of the oils and fats coming out of the cheese. If you smoke it when it's above 90 degrees, your cheese is going to melt. So that's why you don't want to do it when it's very warm, and also why smoking cheese is a cold smoking process. So I've got several cheeses here that have been accumulating over the course of the CSA season, and while I like plain cheese, I also really like smoked cheese, but smoked cheese in the grocery store is uber expensive, so I decided I was going to learn how to do it myself, and it's actually very easy. So all you need is really one piece of equipment and some wood chips or wood pellets, and you're ready to go. So right now I've got some extra sharp cheddar that I'm going to smoke. I've got some mild cheddar, and it's got chives and onions in it. I've got some pepper jack that I'm going to smoke, and then I have just some plain, it's Montana Jack lifelines, but essentially it's Monterey Jack cheese. And then I have a little bit of blue cheese left over, and I've never smoked blue cheese, and I thought, well, what the hey, we'll give it a try and see. Another one that I really like is mozzarella, and I didn't have any mozzarella, so at some point I'll be smoking some more mozzarella. But for today, this variety pack here should be plenty. So one of the first things you want to do when you're smoking your cheese is you can't smoke a huge block like this, or the smoke flavor won't penetrate this deep into the block of cheese. So you need to cut your cheese into smaller sections. So I like to cut mine into sections about this big, so we're talking 3/4 of an inch thick to about an inch thick. And this size block is a really nice size for smoking. So I'm just going to lay those two on there, and that is my pepper jack cheese. We're going to take some of this chive and onion cheese and the extra sharp cheese. 2 blocks. Because I've got my blue cheese here, and I've used about half of this. So I'm just going to put that block on there. And then brand new block of Monterey Jack. So I'll take a couple of nice chunks out of it. We are ready to smoke some cheese. Before we head out though, I'm also doing almonds today. Almonds are super easy to smoke. The only thing you have to do after you smoke the almonds is you do need to put them in the oven on a low temperature to dry them out, because I'm soaking them in a brine solution right now. So these have been in the brine for about 10 minutes. I have 3 cups of almonds, 3 cups of water, and 3 teaspoons of salt. I'm gonna drain the water off of here. I'm gonna put the almonds on this baking tray, and then we'll take everything out to the smoker. So as you can see, the almonds are crowded on this tray, but they're not piled up on this tray. They're pretty much in a single layer for the most part, and that's fine, because throughout the day I'll go out and stir these around to make sure that A, they dry out, and B, that they all kind of become exposed to the smoke that's in the grill. So for the almonds, it doesn't matter. For the cheese, you definitely want space between your blocks of cheese. And I've got mine on a baking tray, which is on top of a cooling rack, so that the smoke can actually get underneath the cheese. Now I will go out about halfway through the process and I'll flip all of these over, because I'll notice, and you'll see too, that the smoke coloring will happen on the top part of the cheese that's exposed, but it won't really happen on the bottom. So we'll flip it over and then we'll get a nice even color and smoke flavor on all of this. So we're gonna take this outside. Okay, so as you can see, we've got a good smoke going on in my grill here. So I'm gonna open the lid. Oh yeah, time to blow out the flame. Okay, flame is out. So I'm gonna put the cheese on the bottom rack. And there's actually a little bit of heat coming off of that, but it's not going to raise the temperature inside here significantly. Put the almonds on top, close this up, and we're just gonna let it sit. So for about an hour and a half is what I let this go, and then I'll come out and I'll flip over each of the cheese, and then I'll stir the almonds around, and then let it go for another hour and a half or so. Got a good smoke going on. There's enough ventilation in the grill that you're not like overwhelming the smokes. If you open it up, you can see there's still plenty of smoke in there. So yeah, this is how you smoke cheese. It's super easy. So back inside, I got other things to do. I'm making pizza dough, I'm roasting beets, I gotta make some jam today and garlic skate pesto. Yeah, it's a busy day around here. Okay, it's been about an hour and a half. So I'm gonna check everything. So the almonds are drying out a little bit. Just just going to give them a stir so that they all get exposed to the smokiness. And at this point I can see that about 60% of my pellets have burned. So that's good. I'm just going to let this sit and let the rest of them burn out. That way I don't have to really time this. So, set that down. Now I'm going to pull this out, flip my cheese over. So it might be a little difficult to see, but there is some browning that's starting to take place. So you can see, I can see anyway, I don't know if you can, but there's a difference between this and this. So the smoke is definitely infusing into the cheese. Alright, that's all we gotta do. And then just let it sit for another hour or two. Let that burn out, and that's it. And then I will show you how you vacuum pack, because it does have to sit for 3 weeks before you can eat the cheese. You don't want to eat it immediately after smoking. Okay, the cheese and the almonds are all smoked. So what we have to do now is we have to vacuum seal the cheese. It has to sit and cure for about 3 weeks in the fridge before you eat it. Otherwise, this is going to be way too harsh, and you don't want that. So let it mellow out in the fridge for about 3 weeks, and then you're all good. So the first thing I'm going to do though is I've got my oven preheating to 250 degrees. I'm going to throw these almonds in there for about 10 minutes, give them a quick stir, and then another 5 minutes or so just to finish drying them out, because they are still damp and you want them nice and dry. So we're going to do that, and then we'll come back and check on them in a few minutes. And in the meantime, we're going to vacuum pack some cheese. So here's my cheese. I don't know if you can tell, but it is a little bit darker in color. So that's exactly what you're going for with the smoking process. And they've dried out a little bit. So that's what you want. And so they've been out there a total of probably 4 hours. So the next thing that you do is I've got my vacuum sealer here, and it's got my roll of plastic in here. So I'm going to pull it out, measure out, well, this one's probably about 10 to 11 inches long. Cut it. So after you cut it, we're going to seal one side. So you just put it in here, and it's going to try to vacuum, but it's not. So you just want to hit seal. That will seal the one side. Then we'll put the cheese in it, and then we'll put it in there, and it will automatically vacuum seal. And that's all you gotta do. It's really easy. Okay, so you can see it makes a nice sealed edge over here. So I'm going to take, let's do this big pepper jack, and I'm going to do one of the chive and onion cheeses. And so they recommend leaving about 4 inches of head space when you seal. I don't always leave that much space, but if you do, then you can sometimes reuse them. And so I will do that occasionally. So we're just going to throw it in there like so. It will capture it. So now that it's sucked all the air out, it's going to seal it up, and then we're good to go. And make sure you have your marker so you can label what you have. All right, so I'm going to put a date on here. So today's the 23rd. And I'm going to write just directly on top of the cheese that this one is chive and onion. This one's pepper jack. Okay, all labeled and ready to go in the fridge. So the reason I put the date on there is so that I know in 3 weeks, or however long it's been, that I can go and attack this cheese and add it to, it's great on nachos, it's great on pizza, especially smoked mozzarella. Oh my gosh, that stuff is so good on pizza. Then if you're putting multiple blocks of cheese in the same pouch, you want to leave an inch or two of space in between these blocks so that when the vacuum process begins, they're going to shrink together. this will give them the space that they require. So we're just going to stir the almonds around for a second. That is finished. So we'll go another 10 minutes, we'll try that. And then once they're completely dry, all you have to do is pull them out, let them cool entirely. And then you'll kind of hear the skins crackling on there, and that's how you know that they're ready. All right, so that is how you smoke cheese. It's really not an arduous process. It just, you need 4 or 5 hours in order to get it done, and you kind of have to be here. Well, I'll provide some information on the amazing smoker that I use. And as long as you have a place to set it, like my gas grill works perfectly fine as a little house for all of this. That's really all you need, is just the smoker itself and then also some of the pellets. Okay, well, we will check on the almonds here in a little bit, but that's how you do cheese. Super easy. I hope you'll try it, because this is so much more economical than buying smoked cheese in the store, and you can smoke whatever kind of cheese you want. Like I said, the mozzarella is one of my favorite, and I don't know if you can ever find smoked mozzarella in the store. It's not very common, even if you can find it, and I'm sure it's uber expensive, so this is the way to go. Okay, so these have been cooling for about 2 to 2.5 hours, and I've already started putting some of them away, so I'm just gonna store them in a plastic bag and leave them out at room temperature. I would say that these are pretty good, but I like them a little bit drier on the inside, so next time, and I think I've done this in the past and I've just forgotten, just bump the temperature of the oven up to 325. That way you're not cooking them too hot, but you're still going to dry them out really well. I have been snacking on this, just so you know. They're just a little bit chewy on the inside, which is okay, but I prefer my almonds to really crunch. And that, my friends, is how you make smoked cheese and smoked almonds. Snacks this week. All right, well, we will see you at Tuesday's pickup. Bye. Oh, let's turn it on. That'll work. A little piece of blue cheese here. Oh, that's really strong. That's why you want the smoke to mellow out.